Great to see. Well, let me ask you, did you know your tax dollars are indirectly going to pay Palestinian terrorists who have murdered Israeli Jews? Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle in Washington say they've had enough and they're ready to do something about it. Jennifer Wishon brings us that story from Washington.
The Taylor Force Act, which already passed the House, is expected to be voted on in the Senate next week. The bill cuts U.S. funding for the Palestinian Authority unless it ends its practice of pay to slay. Last year, the PA made pay to slay payments to 30,000 people to the tune of $355 million. The bill moving through Congress is named for Taylor Force, an American combat veteran murdered while visiting Israel. The terrorist who brutally stabbed him was killed by police, but the PA praised him, and his family is now set for life. It's a chilling practice that American lawmakers say must stop, as Senator Lindsey Graham said this week on a fact-finding tour of the Middle East.
It bothers me greatly that the Palestinian Authority would be paying its young people to become terrorists, so you can see this bill go forward. Having said that, I stand ready to work with the Palestinians. I would like to give them more assistance, but Taylor Force has to be dealt with as a precondition for me.
This comes amid another ongoing controversy between the U.S. and Palestinian leaders over millions in U.S. funding for the UN agency that deals with Palestinian refugees. President Trump said he would cut funding for the United Nations Relief and Works Agency if PA President Mahmoud Abbas doesn't return to the negotiating table, and he's followed through, slashing $65 million from the program. The fund was established nearly 70 years ago to help poverty-stricken Palestinians, but critics say Palestinian refugees shouldn't still exist after several decades, and that the agency has been used to push an anti-Israel agenda. Abbas essentially threatened more terrorism at the UN this week if the U.S. doesn't restore that funding, and Abbas has promised not to meet with U.S. peace negotiators until the Trump administration reverses its decision to move the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. UN Ambassador Nikki Haley says that will never happen. She also sent Abbas another message at the UN this week, responding to a PA statement that Palestinian leaders are not the problem in the Middle East.
I will decline the advice I was recently given by your top negotiator, Saeb Erekat. I will not shut up. Rather, I will respectfully speak some hard truths.
Tensions between the U.S. and Palestinian Authority will likely remain high as the Senate takes up the Taylor Force Act next week. It has support from both sides of the aisle and is expected to pass. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Washington.